Hey guys, welcome back. In this Blender video, we're going to model a steering wheel. This is a great modeling exercise where we'll be using different techniques while keeping the workflow simple and easy to follow. So without wasting any time, let's jump right in. First, let's add the reference image. Then move it to the center by pressing Shift-S and choosing Selection to Cursor. Now, in the side properties, reduce the opacity so we can see the mesh more clearly. Next, we will add a plane mesh. In the corner panel, set it to View. Now add a cut in the middle, and then delete half of the plane. Then add a mirror modifier so it mirrors to the other side. Now start moving the vertices and align them with the border of the steering wheel. Here, bevel these vertices like this. Then place these vertices here. Press Ctrl-R to add an extra vertex here and align it. Over here, add a few more vertices and align them with the border. Do the same over here, adding a few more vertices. Then continue adjusting them so they follow the border nicely. In the middle here, add a vertex, then add a vertex here as well. Now select this face, then inset it inward until it reaches this cut, the seam line there. Next, align these vertices with the cut here. Here, we'll slide and merge this vertex. First, turn on Auto Merge here at the top, then slide this vertex over and merge it here. Do the same with this vertex over here. Now use the knife tool to add a cut like this, connecting these edges. Then dissolve this edge here. You can take your time here and tweak the vertices until they're spaced out nicely. Now let's select this edge and extrude it out to create the spoke arm. Extrude it until it reaches the middle separation line. Here, remove this edge and add it back to straighten the line. Then add a cut here. Now do the same thing for this spoke arm. Extrude it, then align it nicely here. Now that this is done, let's fill the middle section. First, let's apply the mirror modifier, then select the middle face. After that, inset it inward, then delete the middle face. To fill this quickly, select the entire edge loop, then go over here and use grid fill to fill this area. Here in the corner panel, we can tweak the values to align the geometry properly. Here, we want to keep nice, square, evenly spaced faces, so tweak the values accordingly to keep the faces nice, square, and evenly spaced. We can manually tweak and adjust this to make the spacing even better. To do it quickly, select these edges, then we can use Loop Tool Space to space them nicely here. Now let's add the mirror modifier again. Choose Bisect and Flip so it mirrors to the correct side, and Bisect will mirror directly without us manually delete the other half of the mesh. Now let's create the outer circular rim. For that, we'll add a torus mesh. Set it to Front View. Now in the corner panel, we can adjust the torus dimensions. First, it'll adjust the major radius to match the overall outer diameter of the steering wheel. Next, tweak the minor radius to get the perfect thickness for the wheel's grip. Now let's adjust the resolution. I'll set the minor segments to 8, so the thickness topology matches our spoke connections. Next, we'll adjust the major segments. Here, we'll try to align the segments exactly so we can connect them to the spokes cleanly. I'll set it to 64, which gives us the exact edge count we need to connect it cleanly to the spokes. Now slide this edge loop and position it nicely so we can connect the spoke arm properly here. To space these edges evenly here, select these edges. To quickly select them all the way around, press Shift-G and choose Direction. That will select all the matching edges around the mesh. Some edges on the rest of the mesh will also be selected, so deselect those like this. After that, use Loop Tool Space to space the edges evenly. Now they're nicely spaced. For this spoke arm, do the same thing. Slide the edge loop into position. Then select the edges all the way around. After that, use Loop Tool Space to space them evenly. Now we need to connect the spoke arm to the rim. First, select these faces like this and delete them. Then do the same thing for this to connect the arm here, deleting these faces as well. Now select this entire middle section. First, change the snapping type to vertex. Now move it only on the y-axis and snap it to this front vertex over here. Then extrude it backward and snap it to the back vertex. Now select and delete these faces here. Then select this edge loop. First, add a loop cut in the middle here. Then select these edges here and these edges as well. Now go over here and choose Bridge Edge Loops. At first, these connecting edges won't look right because the vertex count on both sides isn't equal, so dissolve these edges that we don't need. Dissolve these edges here like this. Now use the knife tool to add a cut in the middle. Connect these vertices here by pressing J. Slide this edge over to make some space, then add another edge cut here. Now select this edge loop and scale it to match the shape of the spoke arm. Press S, then Shift Y so it scales only on the X and Z axes while keeping the Y axis locked. Now for this arm, do the same thing we did for the previous arm. First, use Bridge Edge Loops to connect it. Then fix the edges and scale the edges to shape it nicely. Now let's fix these extra edges over here. Use the knife tool to add a cut like this. Then add cut in the middle. Now slide these vertices like this. Here, we can slide these vertices just to space things out nicely. Now for the other arm, fix the extra edges the same way using the knife tool. Now in between the steering, the middle part is slightly scaled out. So let's do that. Select these middle edges in between. Then press Alt-S to push them outward slightly. Here, it's not scaling correctly. If we turn on face orientation to check the normal directions, you can see the middle section is red, so press Shift-N to recalculate the normals. Now that's fixed. Select those edges again, then press Alt-S to push them out slightly. Over here for this part, select these middle edges as well and push them out slightly. Do the same over here. Select these edges over here all around like this. And space them evenly using Loop Tool's Space. Over here, we'll space these edges as well. But here, we need one extra cut. So let's add another loop cut here. Now to make this new cut follow the existing curved shape perfectly, we can use Set Flow over here. This quickly curves and blends the new edge smoothly according to the surrounding edges. Now select all these edges all around here and use Loop Tool's Space to space them evenly. Here, select and slide this edge and place it perfectly on that cut. Then add a loop cut and use Set Flow. Then select these edges and space them evenly as well. Now select these vertices and press Alt-S to push them out, shaping this part nicely here. Then do the same over here, shape this part nicely. Now let's bevel these edges to keep this part sharp. First, apply the scale, then select these edges here. We only want to sharpen the middle section, not the outer circular rim, so make sure to select the edges accordingly. Once everything is selected correctly, bevel the edges. Here, keep the profile value at 0.5, so the bevel stays slightly rounded instead of becoming completely sharp. Now connect these vertices, then slide this edge and merge it here. Now slide these vertices a little farther so they aren't too close together. Try to keep these faces as square as possible so they don't stretch too much. On the other side, connect the vertices the same way, then slide these vertices and merge them. After that, adjust their spacing so everything looks even. Now do the same thing for the other spoke arm, connecting the edges the same way. Once that's done, let's add a subdivision surface modifier and see how it looks. Okay, that looks good. Now add a mirror modifier to mirror the detail to the other side. We also want to mirror it to the back, so enable the Z-axis in the mirror modifier. Now let's straight away apply the modifiers. Next, we'll separate each section of the steering wheel into separate different objects. To separate them quickly, select the end edges where each section should split. Then press V to rip and separate them. Do the same on the other ends. Now press Ctrl L to select this entire section, then press P and choose Selection to make it a separate object. Over here, select this edge, and then bevel it to create that small red section. Then separate it using P selection. Now select this section and separate it as well. Next, select half of this middle section and separate that too. Now delete the remaining half. Then add a mirror modifier to each separated part. Make sure the mirror modifier is placed above the subdivision surface modifier. Over here, for this side section, let's increase the thickness a little. Select that section, then we can press Alt-S to make this thicker. Drag the mouse to make it more or less thick. So make it slightly thicker here. And that's good there. Over here in the middle, we need to add that cut, the thin seam line there. Select the entire edge loop, then bevel it. After that, press Alt-E and choose Extrude Along Normals to extrude it inwards slightly, creating that seam. Now select these entire edge loops and bevel them to keep the edges sharp. Set the profile to 1 here, and that's looking great. Now on the back side, select these faces and delete them. Then select this edge and extrude it outward. Here, set the pivot point to 3D cursor so we can scale from the 3D cursor. Then scale this inward slightly. After that, add a few loop cuts here. We'll leave it like that for now since I don't currently know what the backside looks like. Now over here, this inner part is empty, so let's fill it. Then inset it inward slightly. After that, delete the middle face. Now bevel this edge to keep it sharp. At this point, you can either leave it like this, or select this edge loop, then go over here and use Grid Fill to fill it. In the corner panel, we can tweak the values to align the edges correctly. And that's looking good now. Now over here for this circular opening, do the same thing. First fill it, then inset it inward. After that, use Grid Fill. Now bevel this edge to keep it sharp. And that's looking good. For the remaining holes, repeat the same process to fill them. Here at the back, I did something like this, as you can see. So what I did is, first, I used Loop Tool Circle to get a clean ring. Then I extruded inward, something like this, to create that deep inset. Next, I used Grid Fill to close up the geometry. Finally, I beveled all the sharp edges to keep that crisp look. And yeah, that's it for the back, how I did that. Alright, so that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully you picked up a few useful modeling techniques along the way. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment below and let me know your feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.